The woman, unaware of her surroundings, accidentally knocked over a glass of water on the table. As water splashed into the outlet, the circuit breaker tripped, and her phone stopped charging. It wasn't until she woke up late the next morning that she realized her phone had shut down completely. The alarm she had set for 8 a.m. never went off. In a panic, she glanced at her watch. It was already 9:30. Grabbing her bag in a hurry, she rushed out the door. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, a man who had been waiting for a blind date eventually stood up and left the restaurant when she never showed. The person he was waiting for was Annie, the same Annie who had overslept because her phone was off. Half an hour later, she finally arrived at the restaurant. As Annie explained what happened, the man listened with a puzzled look. Just as he was about to ask a question, she casually picked up the menu as if they'd known each other for years. Glancing around discreetly, he wondered if she had mistaken him for someone else. But before he could figure it out, Annie asked if he was a lawyer. The man, Jack, explained that he actually worked in rescue services. Through their conversation, Jack quickly realized he was being mistaken for her blind date. With nothing else planned for the day and a rather good first impression of Annie, he decided not to correct her right away. Instead, he went along and chatted openly with her. Although his details didn't match what her friend had described, Annie's phone was still dead, so she couldn't call her friend to confirm. And so, a story filled with misunderstandings and budding romance began to unfold. After a quick breakfast, the two took a stroll in a nearby park, sharing amusing stories from their lives. The awkwardness from the restaurant soon melted away, replaced by relaxed laughter and conversation. They found themselves at a feeding area in the park, surrounded by fresh air and lush greenery, which only encouraged them to open up even more. After nearly an hour of talking, Jack realized he was starting to like her. Hesitating briefly, he decided it was time to come clean, to tell Annie he wasn't actually the man she was supposed to meet. But before he could finish, Annie cut him off, inviting him to join her on a boat ride instead. For the next 2 hours, lost in easy conversation with her, he completely forgot to tell her the truth. The next day, Chloe, the friend who had set up the blind date, asked Annie how it went. Annie couldn't help but smile slightly when talking about him, which Chloe noticed right away. Hoping to help her friend figure out whether the interest was mutual, Chloe called her husband and asked him to check with the man about his impression of Annie, since the intended blind date was actually her husband's good friend. That's when they learned the man never showed up for the date with Annie.